Laynie and welcome to the channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a late start tonight. I'm starting at almost 9 p.m., which I rarely do, but this weekend is so jam-packed. I'm like, I have to fit this in. I do not want to miss a week. So we're doing it, we're here, and I'm so glad you're hanging out with me. This video idea came to me last week. As soon as I thought of the idea, I was like, I want to film that so badly, so here we are. I want to bring to you 5 fragrances I think you would enjoy if you enjoy Glossier You. So if you enjoy fragrance content, lifestyle content, beauty content, random content, make sure you click that subscribe button. Join the fam, you won't regret it. I'm gonna jump right in because I'm kind of tired, I cannot lie. All right, here we go. First, I want to talk about Glossier You. I feel like it's kind of very raved about, very hyped. I figure most of you know about it or have smelled it. Glossier You isn't my typical everyday reach, but lately as the summer heat has hit, wow, it's been super hot. I've definitely been craving more things in this vein. So this is very fresh to me. It is very sophisticated, very classy woman. There's gnats in here. They're just attracted to my lights. I'm sorry, it's summertime. But to me, this is very mature, but not dated at all. Very inviting, a little alluring, kind of sexy, but definitely office friendly. In here we have Iris, Pink Pepper, Ambroxan, and Ambrette. If I could pick one word that describes Glossier You, it is classy. This honestly, even though it's not my everyday easy reach, is definitely an easy reach fragrance. It's just easy to enjoy. Someone at work was wearing this and I was like, oh my gosh, are you wearing Glossier You? You smell amazing. And she's like, oh yeah, I always get compliments on it. It is so inviting and lovely, honestly. To me, this is my kind of ideal fresh scent because you're gonna feel very clean, put together, even in the high heat. I really do enjoy Glossier You. I don't know why I don't reach for it more. She's beautiful. So when I was trying to think of fragrances for this video, the very first fragrance that came to mind was definitely Letta's I always want to flip-flop these around. 22 Orus. I've said it before on here and I'll say it again. I am obsessed with the Letta packaging. It is just so elegant and classy but understated. It truly just would look beautiful sitting on your vanity. Honestly, it looks like it's far more expensive than it is for niche fragrance. I feel like Letta brand is pretty affordable. I think it's just under $100. And in fragrance right now, that's actually pretty good because these designer prices are getting crazy. So to me, 22 Orus actually smells a lot like Glossier You, like a lot. In here we have Pear Leaf, Freesia, Pink Pepper, Orus, Jasmine, Lily of the Valley, so those pretty florals, Marshmallow Musk, which is kind of intriguing, Sandalwood, and some moss. I think what gives this a very similar scent profile to Glossier You is Pink Peppers in there. We have some soft florals. There is a very subtle sweetness that I also kind of get in Glossier You. Not sugary sweetness, just a little sweet in that feminine sense, not in a candy or syrup sense. I don't know if that's making any sense. They're both quite musky, very fresh. This is also great in high heat. I think where Letta 22 Orus takes a little bit of a turn from Glossier You is that Orus root gives it almost like a buttery, just kind of like almost a buttery creaminess in there, but not lactonic. It's more if like the scent had a texture. That moss really grounds it out, kind of gives it that dry, almost powdery vibe that I get from Glossier You. Hi, honey. What do you don't hit the window. 3-year-olds. I mean, these are honestly very, very similar. I'm just realizing that Glossier You might just be barely a bit sweeter. And I don't know what note is bringing that out, but just like barely, where 22 Orus in the dry down kind of goes a bit more earthy, a little more green. I feel like that Orus root, the pear leaf brings out kind of a vegetalness, which doesn't sound like it would be my cup of tea, but it works really beautifully in 22 Orus. Many people say Glossier You is kind of a your skin but better scent. I don't fully agree with that. I think it's pretty perfumey, but I do get the idea that it's just one of those scents that is so fresh and you just smell so put together. It's not your typical fragrance. Like, you're not getting a certain floral, you're not getting a lot of fruits or a lot of sweetness. It's just one of those where it's like, that smells like Glossier You. Next up, the one that came to mind is Without a Trace by Finery, and you can find this at Target, very affordable. Many people say Without a Trace smells like Missing Person. I am not super familiar. I have smelled it in the past, but I can't really remember what it smells like, so I don't want to say, oh yes, this does smell like it. I really need to put my nose on Missing Person again. This is very much in the realm of just a skin scent. You just smell really lovely, not so much like your typical perfume. I cannot honestly believe this is available at Target because I think this smells incredible. Again, very much in that classy, put together, sophisticated, I've got money attitude that I get from Glossier You and 22 Orus. I do feel like Without a Trace goes a little bit more unisex versus Glossier You and 22 Orus. But in here we have suede, musk, neroli, and cedarwood. I definitely think a man could pull this off. I don't really love masculine leaning fragrances. I've got maybe one or two in my collection, but I definitely feel comfortable still wearing this. It's very down the middle unisex. Now this one to me is not something that smells like Glossier You. It just gives me that same type of attitude. It makes me feel like my shoulders go back a little bit. My chin goes up when I'm wearing this fragrance. Very musky, very clean. That suede in there is done so well. It is so soft. It gives a depth and an intrigue to this fragrance. Definitely can be daytime appropriate, office appropriate, but honestly would be very alluring on a date night. Very much sexy in that way of like, I'm not trying, it's just exuding from me. This one goes a little bit more powdery like the Glossier You, so they definitely have that in common. For being a very budget-friendly fragrance, I could not recommend this more. 10 out of 10 for me. Michelle, what's wrong? And this is why I don't film at night, because we're all a hot mess express over here, okay? This one I actually found by going on Fragrantica's website and seeing what people thought Glossier You smelled like. And I would not have honestly thought of this one off the top of my head like I have some of these others. But smelling them now, I'm like, absolutely, I get why people thought Cloud Musk from Mixbar reminds them of Glossier You. But again, these are not dupes. There's a place for both of these in your collection. Cloud Musk has cardamom and cypress, cotton flower, iris, jasmine, peony, woodsy notes, and some tonka. I definitely feel like that iris is very similar to the iris in Glossier You. There is that soft spice that I really do pick up from the cardamom versus the pink pepper in Glossier You, but they definitely give you that little bit of a warm, tingly sensation to your nose. The cotton flower makes this really soft and almost fluffy without being sweet or dessert-like. And then those woodsy notes really ground it out. Again, quite unisex, honestly, very fresh as well. There is something in this fragrance, even though the notes aren't listed, that makes me think almost a little bit vanillic or balsamic, ambery, where Glossier You to me is very fresh and it kind of just stays fresh. This, as it dries down, becomes a little bit more ambery and balsamic and a little bit more decadent than Glossier You. The cardamom in here almost is a little bit creamy, and I think it's the way it's mixing with that cotton flower and that tonka bean that makes this a little creamy. And I think that's what's giving the vanilla vibe, even though vanilla is not listed. One of my best friends really does not like in-your-face fragrances at all, and we had so much fun, and we went to Sephora. That's really not her spot to hang out. She's one of those who enjoys a little makeup, a little fragrance, but she's not like into these things like I am. And so we were going all through Sephora. You know, I was having a blast. And I was helping her pick out a perfume. And it was so funny because we were kind of talking about it, and I was like, you don't want anything that's too much or too sweet. That's not your vibe. And the first fragrance that came to mind was Not Your Baby by Flur. She loved it so much, she bought a travel spray that day. And she is someone who I feel like would wear Glossier You. In here we have cardamom, bergamot, mimosa flower, violet, vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. This is honestly an interesting fragrance. I don't have anything else quite like it in my collection. It is very floral, it is powdery. Even though musk isn't listed, I find this to be quite musky. It is fresh, but definitely more floral than it is fresh. And those base notes of vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood just play beautifully in this fragrance. As it sits and as you wear it, it just keeps getting better and better. This for me is one of the hardest to describe in my entire collection. But I would put this in the very fresh category, very feminine category. For the person who doesn't like sweet, overpowering. You don't want to smell like a boss babe when you come to the office. You just want to smell approachable, enjoyable, you're friendly. But there's also something that's a little cozy and warm to this, and maybe that's the vanilla and sandalwood coming together with that little bit of soft spice in the opening. I'm honestly not sure. I would say this one and the next one would be ones to get your nose on, because again, these do not smell similar to Glossier You like the others I mentioned. This, I just feel like there's something in me that believes the same person who enjoys Glossier You will enjoy this, and that is Flur Not Your Baby. The last one is a little bit of a leap, I cannot lie, because I can't fully tell you why I feel like the Glossier You person would like this, but when I wore it the first time, there was just something that said to me, oh, this kind of reminds me of Glossier You. This is Juliet Has a Gun Juliet. And Juliet Has a Gun is definitely known for having fragrances that are kind of supposed to be fragrances that don't seem like you're wearing a fragrance. I have not found any of their fragrances to be like knock you down, super strong, anything like that. This one starts out a bit strong, but it tames pretty quickly. In here we have sour cherry, pink pepper, jasmine, cashmerian, and tonka bean. And I really think it is the pink pepper in here that so much makes me feel like the Glossier You wearer would enjoy this as well. To me, Glossier You would be like daytime and this would be date night. You could definitely rock these together, no doubt about it. So start your day with some Glossier You. Make sure you pop Juliet in your bag and then spray this down before you hit the town. I've done something here. I'm definitely gonna wear these together. The cherry note in here is kind of short-lived, and how it sticks around to me just adds almost this subtle sweetness, but also kind of does make me feel like I'm smelling the color of a cherry. I get a lot of that jasmine, and I really do enjoy jasmine. I think it's beautiful. This one is pretty jasmine heavy. I feel like jasmine is such a sexy floral, and this mixed with the cashmerian and that tonka bean definitely makes me feel like date night. In here we have accords of white floral, cherry, sweet, musky, woody, nutty, amber, powdery, almond, and soft spicy. And I definitely think it is the muskiness, the powderiness, and that soft spice that are coming together that make me think you're classy, you're sophisticated, you're also very sultry. This is the evening version for Glossier You. Alright guys, that is all for today's video, because I will tell you I am tripping over my words. I'm gonna have to edit the heck out of this because my brain is like, I'm done for the day. It is now after 9 o'clock. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and truly thank you for being here, because my channel has been growing again, which is so exciting to see, and I've been getting more interaction in the comments, which makes my heart so stinking happy, because I love chatting with you guys. And I just want this to be not only a place I enjoy, but I want you guys to enjoy it so much. So seriously, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. And as always, please try to stay positive, because at the end of the day, that is truly all we can try to do. I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye-bye.